Hi boys and girls, I am going to talk to you today about associative property and commutative property. So we've discussed this before. You have other videos that you can watch, but today's sort of a review. So we're going to start with this problem here. This is associative property. It has three different numbers and they want you to multiply. It doesn't matter which two numbers you multiply first. I could do 5 times 3 and get that answer of 15, then times 2, and I know that would be 30. Or, if I didn't want to do it that way, I could refresh my board. I could do 3 times 2, which is 6, then times 5. 5 times 6 equals 30. So it didn't matter which way I did it. To me, 3 times 2 is a lot easier than 5 times 3 and then times 2. So you have to pick the best or easiest way to solve, and that's associative property. So let me refresh my board, and let's come down here. We could either put parentheses up, 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 6 equals 54. That is one way to do it. Or you could put your parentheses here and do 6 times 3 is 18 times 3. But that seems a little more difficult because you have to do 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 8 is 24. 30 plus 24 equals 54. So the easiest way for me would have been to do it the first way. This first way. 3 times 3 equals 9, then times 6. So let's refresh and go to this one. Do you want to do 8 times 3, which is 24 times 2? Or I feel it doesn't matter whichever way you want to do it. So you could do 8 times 3 is 24 times 2 equals 48. Or you could do 3 times 2 is 6 times 8. And that equals 48. So that's a review of associative property. You choose the first two you want to multiply first and then multiply the third number. Review associative. Refresh, and I'm going to bring the board up and answer this question. Which is an example of commutative property? We know that A times B equals B times A. So I'm looking at these, and we know commutative property, you have to have the same numbers. This has an 8 times 7. Over here is 9 times 7. They are not the same numbers, so I know A is not the answer. 8 times 7 equals 8 times 7. Well, yes, that's true, but they didn't flip-flop the numbers. So that is not the answer. Let's go to C. 7 times 8 equals 8 times 7. Yes, they have the same numbers, and they have just put them in a different order. So the answer is C. But I'll go to D just to double check. 8 plus 7 equals 8 times 7. No, I know that is not true. So review commutative property. They have two numbers, two factors, and they have to flip-flop places. Excellent. And then next I will stop the video and restart and talk about distributive property, the most difficult property, I believe. Excellent.